look, once I've got the information, I just pass it on. Investigators will deal with it. As head of organized crime, I just wait for them to give me reports. If that's what it is, that's what it is.
So, no, if it was a normal investigation, when it's based at the unit, I could speak to him and the commander and follow up and make sure that whatever support which I can provide, I can. As I indicated before, that when I was briefing them, I indicated this will form a part of investigation which we call the project. A project leg is got a project team, a leader, and it's a group, and it reports otherwise. You cannot access it unless there is at the provinces they have what they call Provincial Organized Crime Secretariat. Only the the project leaders will go and brief, and then there will be NDPP and everybody who's supposed to be there who forms the part. So if he's already there at the project and is the person I communicate with, who I knew from the start is part of the investigation, and they're making inroads, and I'm just sharing further information for him and the team to pursue. So I will end it there.
If again, I'm just trying to understand this. If witness A is not part of that project team, it's his docket specific. In this case, there's a very specific docket. If his involvement is limited to this docket and he wasn't part of a project team, you've now shared this with him, what happens? I mean, you hope that he will feed it into somebody else, or what?
No, it will depend. If it is faceted, it doesn't need more resources. Like this one, it seems to need more. Then what we do, you will now, the investigator and the commander come together, we discuss to say we form a team, a multidisciplinary team to work on that particular issue. We call it 5-pillar approach. Then we'll call crime intelligence, and then we will have that investigator. They will determine the number in terms of the volume of the work need to be done. But crime intelligence will be number one to come with that investigator to follow up and verify. That is why we call them pillar one, because everything we do, it must be, we call intelligence-led policing. Then it must be information which, not information, now it becomes intelligent report. Information is not yet verified. So it works like that.
Do you know if that has happened in respect of this group of 5, this which you are describing would have happened?
I think they testified that the leader is General Kalakala, and the testimony of General Kumalo is they are still investigating. The investigation is ongoing. That is what I know.
Thank you, General.
Thank you.
General, just on the issue of Mr. Matlala, so you say you knew that Mr. Matlala was providing security for Mr. Mswazi?
Yes.
And if I can ask you to go to file 3, it is page 198. It's a WhatsApp, CJC 70, page 198.
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
And these are WhatsApp chats between you and Sergeant Nkosi.
That's correct.
And were you aware that, and you must know that Sergeant Nkosi considered the late Mr. Mswazi to be a father figure? Did you know that?
I don't know that he's a father figure, but I knew they are related.
You knew that they are related?
Yes.
And did you also know that Sergeant Nkosi got to know of Mr. Matlala because of Mr. Mswazi?
I don't know about that. They knew each other because of Mr. Mswazi. but
Okay.
I knew later that they know each other.
Okay. And if I understood your evidence, you were quite involved in taxi violence investigations and the taxi violence, those syndicates, the taxi violence syndicates.
No.
I thought you said that you were involved in taxi violence, investigations of taxi violence syndicates.
No, I said I was tasked with a taxi violence in the Eastern Cape.
Yes, but
And,
but that's my question, taxi violence. I wasn't referring to any specific province.
That is why I say no, because there is a component dealing with taxi violence, which I indicated that it falls under General Motsepe, and I was explaining that sometimes I'm tasked of things which is out of my jurisdiction. So I was giving example, but also include, I don't want to jump in front of you, including this, what is in here. I will explain because I know you come to that because of that.
No, I'm just asking because in your conversation with witness A, you also speak about, I thought this was linked to the taxis, but it's not the taxis because the only person that's left there is Joe. So you seem to know a lot about what's happening in the taxi industry. Remember you said Joe is not part of the group of 5 and he's the one that's left in the taxi world. Do you recall that?
In a way, I ought to know as a police officer, even though I'm not working with it.
Okay.
Some of the things I will know because I'm attending meetings. For example, I attended meetings with Santago and the National Taxi Association where there was conflict and accompanying senior managers to be part of the meeting, whereas it's got nothing to do with me, to assist with ideas and whatever it could happen, yes. I will know certain things.
Okay. Now, this WhatsApp text it's a chat, you sending this to Mr. Nkosi.
Yes.
And what was the purpose for sending this to him about the taxi industry?
I had a tasking from the DNC General Civil that he got a tasking from the minister. The minister wanted to know about the bucket system. How does it operate? And they wrote this short description of the taxi industry. They want to know about short background of the taxi industry. How does it constitute the associations? How many are they in each region, meaning province? The rise of Joe Ferrari, the rise of Mswazi, the chairpersons and regionals and whatsoever. And the general gave me a name of a guy called Tami from Gauteng to say he's a chairperson, I think in Gauteng, can assist me. But I saw that this is not going to help me. So I happened to know the president of Santago. Then I phoned the president and said, there is a question which we need your information about. How many associations are there? How many chairpersons in regions and so forth? Because I knew Santago is the biggest one. And then he said he's in the meeting and gave me the number of the secretary to say, I must send an email. I told my secretary to send an email. And I asked Nkosi to say, do you know the chairperson? He said, yes. I said, I've spoken to the chairperson. They're supposed to give me this and that. I'm going to the meeting. My secretary have forwarded an email to their office. Just follow up that they respond. They responded well after some time. And I think I got the file or explaining all those things. So that was the reason. This was a tasking to him to follow up for me when I was going to a meeting.
Okay, and at that stage you knew who Mswazi was, you knew who Joe Ferrari was, you knew all of that?
And Mswazi was already passed when
Yes.
I sent this. Yes, I knew.
Okay.
I knew, but tasking is a tasking. Police officer is a police officer. When I task you to go and do the job, go and do the job.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. I'm just trying to test that you didn't know how about Mr. Matlala. You just referred to Mr. Matlala as providing security for Mswazi. but you don't know that what General Dumisani Kumalo says, that Matlala became one of the group of 5. At this stage, he would have been in the group of 5 because Mr. Mswazi is no more. This is October 2024. You speaking to witness A in December 2024.
Even today, I don't know. I heard what the investigation reveals now by the general. I don't know.
And when you were telling the investigators in 2024 that the guns that were found on the alleged hitman of Aman Swart was connected to other murders, did your source tell you which murders they were?
No.
You didn't know?
No.
Okay. And now do you know?
What I heard about a DJ somebody, another DJ whom I forgot the name. Yeah, I think I heard about 3.
The attempted murder of Tebogo Tobajani.
No, the attempted murder, I know that not about the firearms, about the suspect, those who were arrested on the Amansar. They are linked to that, yes.
So you know about the suspects?
Yes, they are charged on it, on the Tobajani man.
Okay, so you know that the accused, Mr. Musa Kekana and Mr. Floyd Mabusela, that's being accused together with Mr. Ket Matlala for the attempted murder of Tebogo Tobajani, are also co-accused of Mr. Katiso Molefe in the murder of Mr. Aman Swart.
Yes.
Okay, and you didn't have any knowledge of that connection of those contract killers when you spoke to the investigators in May of 2024.
I knew the connection of what?
You didn't know that those contract killers in May 2024, when you spoke to the investigators, you didn't know that those contract killers that had been arrested for Aman Swart's murder were also involved in the murder of DJ Somebody as well as the attempted murder of Tobajani.
No.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know.
Okay.
Remember when the DJ Somebody happened in Gauteng and I was still in Gauteng, so I was interested to finding out who killed him. So if I knew, they could have been linked. I remember even head office General Mutsipe, they had some information and took the docket and it was taken away from them after maybe the linkages have done. That I know, but I didn't know they are linked to any. What I knew is information, which I indicated in my statement and what I testified is, the source informed me that those firearms are going to link with more murders. And that is what I conveyed to the investigators.
And they did indeed link. There was indeed a link. And it was, one of the links is to the person that you took a loan from, Mr. Matlala, in September of 2024.
I don't know about that. And I didn't know if that will happen, so it happened. So even if it is linked to him, I didn't know. And it happened is a good thing that he is arrested for that.
And then, General, can I just ask you whether you had ever had any telephonic interaction with Mr. Motsumi?
Yes.
Can you tell us why? Can you tell us who's Mr. Motsumi?
I know him as a businessman. He phoned me and said he was referred to me, that I'm dealing with extortions, and they were having problem with extortionists in somewhere in Rekhe Park, and also I think I was in Tanzania. They phoned me, I referred him to Brigadier Khorani, the provincial head of Northwest, where there was a problem in the mining area where they were working with this 50%, and others were coming, robbing the chrome and so forth. So that is how we had telephone conversation, and then it was about him reporting that referred to me. As I've indicated, the extortions falls under me. So I didn't even ask who referred you to me, and until today I don't know.
And do you know what industry Mr. Motsumi is in?
The complaint in Reger Park was construction. The complaint in, I think is breads, it was mining. So I think it's construction and mining. Furthermore, I don't have knowledge.
And do you know if Mr. Motsumi had any relationship with Mr. Mswazi, the
No.
late Mr. Mswazi?
No, I don't know.
You don't know?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know if there's any relationship between Mr. Motsumi? You've just said that he mentioned mining in breads. And in your transcript, we've referred to breads already, that group of people having mining in breads.
No, I don't know, because I knew about Mr. Molefe or seeing him on TV recently after the arrest, but not immediately, because that time I couldn't see on the TV. And yes, and that is when I started knowing him, but I don't know his circle.
Okay. So you don't know whether there's any connection in
No,
this mining in breads between Mr. Motsumi and Mr. Molefe or any member of the group of five?
Yeah,
That's
I
what you
don't
said.
know, because my communication with Mr. Motsumi was always about his complaints, and I will always refer him to the relevant people working with it to deal with it. For example, that one I indicated, I can remember that one because it was, I think, last year. I referred him to Brigadier Khorani to assist because he is the provincial head of organized crime.
Thank you, General.
General, sorry, just remind me, you said with the call with Mr. Motsumi, who called who?
He called me and I called him back to give him feedback that certain person will phone him.
And do you recall when was this?
The other one was, if not, I think the first one was 2024. The last one, which I can remember, I was in Tanzania. It should be April, May 2025, I think.
Okay, we also have a record of a call in 6 June 2025, you making the call. And that is in file 4,
Yes.
page 8.
That might have happened because I remember I came back on I think if it's not the 1st of June, it's the 1st of May when I came back. And there was still not satisfaction about how it was handled, because one of his partners they were indicating that this person persistently, because what happens, what they explained is Samanka gives them mining places to mine, and then they extract, and then Samanka buys the minerals from them. And then there was one who was blasting all over, damaging electricity and whatsoever. And when Samanka stops him, he wants them to give portions and whatsoever. But they were giving messages to the brigadier, and the brigadier could only open an inquiry to follow up. But he wanted somebody to give a statement in order for them to go forward, but nobody was forthcoming, and they were not happy. We had to meet, and then I phoned him to explain to him that, no, we need a complainant. We cannot use only this. We can open inquiry, but it can lead us up to so far. But you are approached by a person, so give statements. So that is where I ended.
You recall when Chair said that he finds it concerning that police officers and generals in particular are afraid to mention the names of certain people.
Yes.
and he referred to you, and then he referred to another general.
Yes.
And the name that the general, which is General Senona, was afraid to mention was Motsumi. Do you know why he would be afraid to mention his name?
I don't know, but I know why I didn't want to mention certain names, because I have established that even those who are on the other side or investigating, they are close to the same people, and you don't know who you are dealing with. So, hence I said, even me is now publicly saying this. I don't think I've been brave to do this, because it's not easy if you have information about certain things. So General Senona might be having different information about the individual, which I don't know. My engagement with the individual was because he was a complainant and was referred to me, as many people are referred to me.
And your fear of wanting to mention the name that we haven't mentioned is because that person is part of this group of 5 that you told Witness A about?
Actually, I didn't want anybody to be mentioned, which I mentioned there. But my prayer didn't get through, so maybe I need to pray more. But it didn't get through. I didn't want any name to be mentioned for that matter.
When you say any names, who do you mean?
All those names you were mentioned.
Zay?
All those names, I don't know, all those names which were mentioned.
Well, I want to understand why you would have a fear mentioning a politician's name. So, Mr. Malema, why would you be afraid to mention a politician's name? He's a public figure.
Politicians have followers. It's like a priest. You don't know who's mad out there, who can do what when you say things. So I have seen a lot in the 38 years I'm working with the police. So I understand.
Leaving that topic, General, the question that I also had was, yes, you were reluctant to mention these other names, but there is this one particular name that you drew the line on and said, reluctantly the others can be mentioned, but not this one. Even the recording has to be manipulated so that mention of this name is not heard. And we're not asking you to mention the name. We respect the engagement that has taken place between the legal teams. Maybe the question is, why? What is the reason? And remember, General, look here, General, I want you to look behind me and understand what is it that this commission is probing. Do you see that this commission is probing interference and infiltration of the SAPS by alleged crime syndicates?
I have full understanding.
Yes.
And again, without us coming to testify, the commission won't exist.
Yes.
And tomorrow, whatever finding will come without us being in existence again, it won't work. I indicated here my first day to come here and say, I thought it was reckless from crime intelligence head. And I'm taken to be maybe against crime intelligence. I respect the men very much. And we worked along well, and with all of them. And they can attest to that. I got information, I called them, and it's my point of departure. But to come, I had qualms with, to come here and say Shibiri gave us the name of the cartel. And you are having bodyguards 24 hours because of you don't want to be harmed by the same cartel. So that is what I indicated.
When you say you, I assume you're talking about General Kumalo.
Yes, he's having bodyguards.
When you say you, looking at the three of us,
I'm addressing you
Yes.
as my commissioners. I'm addressing you. So I'm referring to that to come and say that it was not palatable with me, and I thought it is putting me in danger. And that is why I indicated, I even requested a threat risk assessment, and I didn't get any response because maybe because I said I'm considered maybe to be a loyalist to General Sibia or whatever. But that is something. Here today where we are, my legal team, I indicated to them, I don't want this recording to be played, and if it is supposed to be played, it must be played in camera, of which I think the Commission's terms of reference allows. And I've seen people testifying as witness what, and what. And those people are under protection. I'm not. So you can ask them.
Can I interrupt you? You're going to continue because
Yeah.
you're saying too many things. When you say you requested a threat and risk assessment, again, it's from SAPS.
Yes.
Yes, just so that we can continue.
Yes,
to
from
answer.
SAPS.
Again, because
my
remember now
commission.
you're referring to the commission.
Yeah.
And the public is listening. So we didn't want the public to think you've asked the commission.
No,
for
the
a threat
commission
and
is
risk
now
assessment
assisting me.
Yes. No, you don't have to mention.
Yeah, okay. But
Please don't speak at the same time. What you just said is very important. You say, with regard to protection, the Commission is now assisting you.
Yes.
Thank you.
yes, but from my team, legal team, they know my plea was this must not be played. This must not be discussed outside, or it must be protected like any other. For that reason, but my prayers were not met, so I will live with the consequences. So it's fine.
It's my question, because I want to give you a chance or an opportunity. And I don't want you to leave me with the feeling that you did not assist the Commission to fulfill its mandate. And I hope you understand that. Because what has happened in 2024, you can't revisit, you can't go back to 2024 and change that. Your request to crime intelligence, we cannot go back and change that. When we are sitting here, we are probing these very issues. And if you are reluctant to share information with us, information that you know is relevant to our terms of reference, and information that you know will assist us to get to the bottom of what is happening. Have criminal syndicates infiltrated SAPS at the very highest levels? And if you know that, but you don't want to tell us because you fear for your safety or for some other reasons, I don't want to be left, once you are gone, I don't want to be left with the feeling that General knew something, but he didn't want to tell us or was reluctant to tell us. Because I don't want to make findings against you based on that feeling or that hunch or that belief that you didn't tell us all you knew. Do you understand?
Yes,
That's why we are asking this question.
Yes,
Is there a reason why you don't want this name to be mentioned? And I'm not asking you to mention the name. I'm just asking you, is there a reason why you don't want this specific name to be mentioned?
For the same reason, Commissioner, I love this country, and I've been a police officer for 38 years, and because I'm a patriot. When I came, it was because of money. I didn't have work, and then it changed when I'm working here and when I'm growing. One of the questions, number one, which the Commission asked me, was to indicate if ever I have knowledge of infiltration and how it happens. And I tried from my level best of my knowledge to articulate that to the Commission so that I assist. And I wanted to say, whatever it is said there, I told everybody what I told you because I wanted us to fight this crime and then to deal with it. So it cannot, when I have done so, and then don't want to tell the Commission. But I felt, because it's not yet over, and the fight is still going on, but the information is needed. And you made a provision that it can be heard, otherwise not mentioning names. Hence I said I wanted all those names not to be mentioned or relating to my conversation with witness A and whatsoever. And it was unfortunate that when I wrote my statement, I used not recalling mentioning something intentionally to say I don't want to deny. I want to say in later stage if we agree, because I told my team, if we agree, then I recall and indicate. And I also indicated here, because of that, I know I lived the same life for more than 6 years, which they are living now, and it's not the first time. So, not to say, I know I will perish one day and I will die, it's fine. Now I'm having grown up, I'm having grandchildren, it's fine. That is why I said, let me take what is given to me. I can't get all. But I didn't want all the names to be mentioned.
General, I see you're not going to answer this question. You may have your reasons, so I'm going to leave you with this. Are you willing to mention this name in camera and reasons why you were not prepared to tell us in public why you don't want this name to be mentioned?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
You're leaving the Msumi discussion? Okay, let me just ask 2 questions out of that. General, you explained that Mr. Motsumi called you because someone had referred him to you. Did I understand you correctly or hear you correctly that there was in fact more than one call with him?
Yes,
because
yes.
you speak of 2024 and then you speak of 2025.
Yes.
Okay. Can you just explain? In 2024 he calls, is it just one call and the next time you speak in 24, or what happens there? What number of calls do you have in 24?
No, he called and then I called the investigators because he was not the complainant, obviously the managers, and then I will also call and give him feedback and so forth.
So there was a formal complaint?